One bullet was enough to take away her dignity, justice, future, and husband. This video is based on a written review I did over on my blog. If you want to read it, go check it out. And previously I also reviewed the short story by Sudo Kotori called If You Are Going to Kill Me, Do It After the Song. It's also up on my blog, so if you also want to check that out, it'll be linked in the description. Okay, so Sudo Kotori's Gorilla's Trial Day, Gorilla Saiban no Hi, is a work that, despite having a ludicrous premise, is surprisingly profound and full of genuine emotion. Meet the winner of the 64th Mephisto Prize. After a 2-year absence in winners, Kotori emerged triumphantly and presents us the story of Rose, a Western lowland gorilla, a tale of her life, her love, sacrifice, tragedy, justice, freedom, humanity, and a commentary on so many topics of contemporary society that left me dumbfounded at how imaginatively and greatly they were handled. So, what is the Mephisto Prize? I read the version of this book published in the winter 2024 special issue of the Mephisto magazine. This one. The tankobon release, aka the volume release per se, is slated for March 2023. So, before presenting my commentary on this book, I want to talk about the Mephisto Prize. Not living in Japan, many of us may have heard of it before, but don't really know what it consists of. Well, basically, the Mephisto Prize is a Japanese literary award for unpublished genre fiction, mainly mystery novels, and it was established in 1996 by editors of the Mephisto magazines. Winners are selected on an irregular basis, and while there is no prize money, the winning works are officially published by Kodansha. To begin, I must state that I am a huge fan and follower of the Mephisto magazine and prize, because well, most of my favorite authors of all time have come from there. Works like Mori Hiroshi's The Perfect Insider, or Seiryon Ryusui's Cosmic Detective Myth, End of the Century Detective Myth, or Maiyo Otaro's Smoke, Soil or Sacrifices, and Nishiishin's Decapitation, The Blue Seventh and the Nonsense User, and Yuya Sato's Flicker Style, which I don't own physically, are a few of the Mephisto Prize winning works that I've had the pleasure of reading before. If you feel like digging a little bit deeper about the Mephisto Prize, I recommend checking out the Japanese Mystery Wiki, which is run by some friends of mine, and I will link in the description. In any case, all of the Mephisto Prize winning works I've read have been absolutely fantastic pieces of literature, each on its own merits, of course. And I am delighted to report that the newest winner of this prize, which I hold in such high regard, is no exception. For a work inspired by the world-famous Harambe incident, Sudo Kotori surprised me and made me go on to question things I don't usually think about. What exactly is humanity? Who decides on justice? And what distinguishes me from you? Rose, the protagonist and first-person narrator of this work, is a lovely gorilla born in the jungles of Cameroon. From the very first moment I opened this book and was met with a first-person narration instead of a third person, my interest grew exponentially, as doing it in that way involves having to write the thought process of the narrator, in this case a gorilla, and well, the narration was nailed down to a T. Rose's early life is a joy to read about. Life in the jungle, gorilla behaviors, their struggles, and Rose's cognitive process as she learns human language from researchers and about human society. It was unexpectedly calming and educational, tossing curveballs at the reader on occasion. This section of the novel never felt boring to me. Rather, I found it intriguing, and the fact that we already know what all of this was building up to kept me thrilled every second. Another thing worth mentioning is the absolutely amazing cast of characters. Sam and Chelsea taking care of Rose as if a daughter, Ted being such a lovely man, Lily hands down being the absolute best in everything she's in, and then Daniel, he's amazing. The moment he showed up, it made me grin like an idiot nonstop. He's just so much fun. The characters in this book are genuinely one of the most lovable bunch of characters I've ever read, and I just found myself rooting for every single one of them. I'm looking forward to the next appearance, their relationships with Rose, and their conversations, well, are genuinely fun. I'd like to talk about a lot more of things, but because I follow a strict non-spoiler approach to reviewing, I'll have to hold myself back and just hope those who read this review one day will be able to enjoy this book for themselves. And that leads to another thing I like to talk about in my reviews of Japanese non-translated literature. The difficulty of reading from a non-native standpoint. Just how difficult was it for me to read Gorilla's Trial Day in Japanese? Dear Kotori, God bless you. Sudo's Kotori's prose flows amazingly well, something that I noticed in his short story, but now that I was able to read him in a longer format, it just drove home how easy it is to read his works. Despite touching upon some heavy and complex topics, his prose always stays easy to follow, and the things he tries to convey are always easy to understand without being on your face kind of obvious. I describe his writing as easy to read whilst being deep and impactful. Good stuff, for real. I feel this especially fits Gorilla's Trial Day because despite being such a tough, thought-provoking work, overflowing with personality, and so many sensitive topics, it presents all of it in an easy to approach and digest manner, and serves as an amazing introduction to audiences who may not be as familiarized with these topics. I also have to give credit where credit is due. Kotori definitely did his homework. While reading, I was struck by how detailed and realistic the surroundings, gorilla behaviors, and depictions of other regions of the world were. To my amazement, he acknowledged all of the material he used at the end of the book. He genuinely read upon the literature of his subject matter to provide the readers with the most true-to-life depiction he could. I mean, I feel compelled to point this out since it's something I don't see very frequently, and something that I, as an aspiring writer, would never have considered for my own writing. But then the second part of the book arrived, and what had been a peaceful and almost reconnecting with nature experience did a 180 and went places I'd never expected. I found myself laughing out loud, jumping in excitement, rooting for Rose in the most unexpected of ways, and just loved every single second of it. The story went places I didn't expect to, and the creativity behind some of the situations Rose finds herself in was so great, so much fun. And that reminds me that I also need to talk about Rose's character development. During the first few pages of the book we are presented with the phrase, justice is what humans want it to be. The way this phrase gets interpreted through the book, the meanings different characters give it, and the way even Rose herself changed her way of interpreting it through her character arc, was such a thought-provoking journey. It was just so great. And on the topic of thought-provoking, throughout this review I've mentioned that Gorilla's Trial Day touches upon some heavy or complex topics that I feel we don't often see enough in literature. Gorilla's Trial Day touches upon some things like racism, discrimination, justice, morals, the value of life of different individuals, personal dreams, and what others expect from oneself. Of course, there is a lot that I probably missed or failed to mention, but the fact that it's such a thematically dense and educational read on these topics, while still being such a fun read, is nothing short of a feat. By the end, I found myself longing to see more of Rose, learn more about characters I love like Sam and Chelsea, more of Lily, wanting to see the amazing presence of characters like Daniel again. The characters really struck a nerve with me. It's surprising how, given the little amount of screen time some of these characters were given, how impactful their presence both in Rose and the reader were. My copy of the 2022 Winter Special issue of the Mephisto magazine, where this novel was originally published, was provided to me directly by the author. Let me show you. It's even a signed copy. I just pasted some paper on top of my name because, well, you see Sudo Kotori 4, and let's assume he just wrote Kakuso Kotagawa instead of my real name. In any case, for a random Mexican interested in Japanese literature who has never left his country, it was quite a surreal experience to be in contact with an author literally on the other side of the world, whose work called my attention so much. His wholesomeness and disposition left such a big impression on me that I'll treasure this for years to come. It's just what kind of author does that? I just talked about the book on Twitter, translated a few things, and out of his heart he just went ahead and told me, if you want a copy, I'll send it your way the moment it's ready. Well, Kotori Sensei, I really gotta thank you. You did an amazing work with this book, and having to be in contact with you, I just wish you the absolute best. Your works are amazing, and well, I've been following you. I will be following you for years to come. In any case, and well, the Tankobon release is slated for March, and I already pre-ordered it. And well, I will be looking forward to it as an excuse to reread the book. And as far as I know, for the Tankobon version of the book coming out in March, there will be a new epilogue, or I think Kotori mentioned rewriting the epilogue. So, yeah, I'll be looking forward to rereading the entire book when the Tankobon comes out. And well, I pray for the day this work gets translated into English. I'm sure a lot of people overseas would enjoy it. The book itself and my personal experience really left me thinking that we need more authors like Sudo Kotori, and more authors like him deserve to be read. For a mystery head like me, who more often than not finds literature that isn't related to mystery boring or not interesting, Gorilla's Trial Day definitely made me change that impression. I can indeed enjoy stuff out of my niche. It just needs to be the right kind of stuff. And from what I've read of Sudo Kotori, he definitely falls into that category. I will be really looking forward and reading Kotori and his future works. As a debuting author, I can tell you, you've earned yourself a fan for life, Kotori Sensei. For a work inspired by the Harambe incident out of all things, this made me go as far as to question my own humanity, what humanity itself is, and just what being a human being means. It was such an uplifting tale, a good vibes tale full of both the good and the bad of humanity. I found myself so overly interested in a fictional gorilla out of all things. I rooted so hard for Rose through the entire novel, and hell, let me tell you, what a pretty tale it was. It really makes me reflect. As humans ourselves, we do often find humanity in the most unexpected of places. And well, that was the video of today, of this month, of this year. I don't know, I decided to record You know, I just took this entire video in one take, and I don't feel like re-recording it because, as you can tell, because of the camera quality, I am recording this on my Nintendo 3DS. You may ask why, and well, seeing my previous videos, I'm really unhappy with the video and audio quality, but I really just can't afford a new camera. I usually just record things on my phone here. And yeah, I don't like the quality of my videos, so instead of just agonizing over it, I decided I will record my following videos in the worst cameras I own. So next video will probably be recorded on my PlayStation Vita. So yeah, look forward to it. Gorilla's Trial Day was really just an amazing book, and yeah, I can't wait to reread it. It's genuinely fun, it deserves the Mephisto prize and way more things. I wish Sudo Kotori so much luck, and I just I'm just rooting so hard for him. I want to read more of his works, and yeah, this was a pretty great book. I loved it. And in whatever case, this was the video, and thank you for everything.